The wandering greengrocer, a mobile market on two wheels. The sun had just begun its ascent over the sleepy village of Sakamaju when the familiar sputter of an old motorcycle engine broke the morning silence. Like clockwork, Pak Haroon, the neighborhood's beloved traveling vegetable vendor, navigated his beat-up Honda through the narrow, winding lanes of the kampung. His motorcycle, modified with a large wooden sidecar, was a moving marketplace, stacked high with baskets of fresh produce, their vibrant colors contrasting against the faded green paint of his trusty steed. The air was thick with the rich aroma of dew-kissed earth as Pak Haroon rolled to a stop near the first cluster of houses, where morning routines were just beginning to kick into gear. He could hear the faint sounds of clanging pots and children's laughter floating through the open windows, mingling with the distant call of roosters announcing the new day. He raised a hand in greeting to Mrs. Sari, who was already out tending her small garden. Her face broke into a wide smile as she made her way over to his motorcycle, the sun glinting off her silver hair. "Good morning, Pak Haroon. What do you have for us today?" she called out, her voice cheerful and welcoming. With practiced ease, Pak Haroon swung open the sidecar, revealing a colorful display of plump tomatoes, crisp green beans, and bright orange carrots, all sourced from the nearby farms. "Fresh from the fields this morning, Boo sorry. Only the best for my loyal customers," he replied, his voice warm with affection. He stood proud beside his goods, his weathered face lighting up with joy at the sight of familiar faces. As Mrs. Sari selected her favorites, she chatted animatedly about the upcoming village festival. The news of the event filled Pak Haroon with nostalgia. Decades of laughter and camaraderie at those gatherings danced through his mind. He couldn't help but reminisce about the times he had set up his stall at the village square, sharing stories and jokes with friends over steaming bowls of local delicacies. "Don't forget to save me some of that delicious tempeh. I will be bringing my famous sambal this year," Pak Haroon said with a wink, counting on the festive spirit to draw in more customers. With the sidecar now half empty, he continued his route, casting waves to familiar faces as he passed. Each stop brought a new batch of customers eager to share their tales of the day and claim their share of the village's bounty. Children would dart out from their homes, eyes wide with curiosity, and sometimes a cheeky one would venture close, daring to ask, "Uncle Haroon, do you have any sweet fruits today?" With a hearty chuckle, he would reach into the sidecar for a bright mango or a handful of lychees, offering them with a kind smile and a little lecture about the importance of healthy eating. His interactions brought life and laughter to the otherwise quiet streets. As he continued weaving through the kampung, the sun climbed higher, spilling golden light onto the village. The laughter of children, the beeping of horns, and the clanging of pots gradually filled the atmosphere, and Pak Haroon felt a deep sense of purpose. He was not just delivering vegetables. He was nurturing community bonds, connecting people through food, and keeping tradition alive in the heart of Sakamaju. A morning ritual for the village. For decades, Pak Haroon had been the lifeline of fresh food for housewives, elderly residents, and busy families who couldn't make it to the distant town market. His arrival was met with the creaking of wooden doors and the cheerful shouts of children running out to greet him. "Sayer Seeger. Sayer Mura. Fresh vegetables. Cheap vegetables," he called out in a rhythmic chant, his voice carrying through the morning air. His sidecar was a cornucopia of farm-fresh goodness. Crisp, leafy greens, kale, spinach, and watercress still glistening with morning dew. Plump red tomatoes and fiery chilies arranged in neat pyramids. Knobbly ginger and pungent shallots, their earthy scent mingling with the breeze. Bright orange carrots and purple eggplants, their skins smooth and unblemished. More than just a seller, friend. Pak Haroon wasn't just a vendor. He was a walking news bulletin, a mediator of gossip, and sometimes even an impromptu advisor. As he weighed out potatoes for Ibu City, he'd ask about her son's university exams. While handing a bundle of lemongrass to Mbakromo, he'd listen patiently to the old man's tales of the village's past. His prices were fair, and if a family was struggling, he'd often slip in an extra bunch of beans or a few limes without charging. The art of balance. Watching him work was like observing a street performer. With practiced ease, he'd weigh vegetables on a handheld scale while keeping his motorcycle steady. He'd peel off just the right amount of banana leaves for wrapping, his fingers moving swiftly despite their calloused roughness. When a sudden tropical downpour hit, he'd throw a tarp over his goods in one fluid motion, laughing as children scrambled to help him. A fading tradition. Though supermarkets and online delivery apps were slowly creeping into rural life, Pak Haroon remained a living relic of a simpler time. The older villagers worried that when men like him retired, the tradition of door-to-door greengrocers would vanish. Yet for now, the sound of his motorcycle engine, a sputtering symphony of resilience, still brought warmth to the kampung every morning. Conclusion: the heartbeat of the kampung. As Pak Haroon kicked his motorcycle back to life and continued his rounds, the village returned to its rhythm. Kitchen fires were lit, meals were prepared with his fresh ingredients, and life moved on. But in that brief moment each morning, when his voice echoed through the lanes and his vegetables brought color to every doorstep, the kampung felt a little more alive. For as long as his wheels kept turning, the soul of Sakamaju stayed rooted, just like the fresh produce he carried from farm to home.